results of some people popping in, and it's been good, and we do not take that for granted at all. I do not take it for granted. So yes, thank you very much for joining. Thank you. Thank you for joining us tonight. We have been trying to discuss tops, and in case you do not know what is happening, this is just to let you know that we are on in our free class, free class to oversee nurses. I'm just trying to log in so that we can share with the platforms and all of that. So yes. Oh. Just give me a minute, please. Let's do this. Okay, so on one of the platforms, we are trying, I'm just trying to share, and it's asking for some permissions and passwords and all of that. So sorry, just need to do this so that everybody can benefit from this class this night. Wow. Okay. All right, so thank you for your patience. I'm letting you all in now. Yeah, okay, regular class members, you're welcome. My name is Joy Agagwu, and I am a registered nurse, registered midwife, practicing currently in the United Kingdom. I work with overseas nurses to provide these free IELTS classes. So if someone is telling you something else about the class, maybe you have to pay money or something, please just know that it is not from us. It's a once in a week class for now, and we come up on Thursdays only. In the meantime though, at 8 o'clock Nigerian time, 7 o'clock UK time. We have been dealing with some topics, some subjects, and today we are going to continue and then conclude on a particular one. So this class for writing task 1 is going to end today. We've been dealing with writing task 1 really. And on writing task 1, we have dealt with all of the question types, okay? And today we are going to take questions that you have in writing task 1. That's after we have gone through again what is there. We will go through what we've done in writing task 1, and then you can ask your questions, all right? Generally, we've been talking. If you are joining us for the first time, you're welcome. If you are watching this for the first time, you are welcome. You can like and share, okay? And if you've not been following us, please go to the YouTube channel, and there you will have the previous classes. The previous classes are there, okay? And you can connect so that you won't be left behind, like you won't feel left out. If you watch only just this class today, you may not get like full details of what it's going on. But from the YouTube channel, you can find all the previous classes. They are all there. Some have been labeled, named, and they are arranged in a file, like a playlist kind of something, and you may be able to get a better understanding from there. Writing task 1 is a kind of writing that is expecting you to write in an academic style, okay, where you're expected to write not less than 150 words, and then to complete the task in 20 minutes. It is testing your ability to analyze and explain a given information. Answers are supposed to be presented, of course, in your own words, in complete sentences um, that makes up those paragraphs. And there are various types of questions that you will find as a type of task 1. Like we said, writing is divided into 2, task 1 and task 2, and this is task 1 that we're rounding up. We've been discussing. If you go to the channel, like I said, you will find them all there. So there are various question types that you will find. This includes graphs, bar charts, pie charts, floor maps, floor plans, process graphs, and tables. So we discuss them one after the other. Generally, there are things that you look out for. When a teacher sets some questions for you, there are basic criteria that the teacher will use to grade you, to rate you, okay? So these things are called band descriptors in writing task, and they are the same band descriptors that are also used in your speaking. Your writing and your speaking, they are very much alike, okay, in the IELTS. So the band descriptors contain the information that is required of you in various ways, in different components, so that your examiner can easily mark and grade your writing or your work and give you a band score. So task achievement and response is the first one. This component accesses your ability to complete a task as instructed. You following the structure. There's the structure of the writing task, okay? Introducing the task by rephrasing the question prompt, and then a complete summary of the key features, a highlight of the key features, and writing not less than 150 words. My advice to people, and it's been working, is that you should not write more than 170, 175 words. This is because when your words are too many, you tend to make more mistakes, okay? Errors will be there. And remember that we have grammatical range and accuracy as well, where we talk about your sentence formation. That's this use of simple, compound, and complex sentences. And then it has to do with your good grammar as well, good grammar formation and appropriate punctuations. Okay, there's coherence and cohesion, which is your ability to write in a sequential order where you present your work and your ideas logically. Okay, proper paragraphing, showing a clear progression in your work, avoiding unnecessary repetition of information, where you use a range of cohesive devices and linking words to express accuracy, okay, in your write-up. And who is here? Let's admit people to the class. And then finally, among the band descriptors, we have lexical resource and lexical resource, which is your range of vocabularies, the use of synonyms to explain yourself so that you won't be saying the same thing all the time. And then this shows that you understand what you have been asked to write about, using adverbs and adjectives to show precision, appropriate word formation, correct spellings, and avoidance of errors as much as possible. So these are your band descriptors in the writing task. Now we have the structure of the writing task 1. Well, many people, they have different schools of thought, and from what has been happening in the class and what has really worked and people have been successful applying this principle is that we have a structure where there are 3 paragraphs, okay, where we have the introduction and the overview. Your introduction is 1 paragraph, and the content of the introduction is a rephrase, a paraphrase of the question prompts that you're given, and then your overall statement. The overall statement is your general conclusion, like what you can see just at a single glance at this question that is before you, at the diagram that is before you. Okay, it may be a map, it may be a line graph or a bar chart or a pie chart, whatever question that you have. What can you conclude? What can you see? Okay, without having to explain what exactly can you conclude about this. So it's more like like you having a general conclusion about a particular thing, about a particular question even before you start. Then the overview is what gives you 2 paragraphs, okay? So in your introduction, you have a paraphrase and an overall statement together in your introduction. It's 1 paragraph, full stop and continue. Not that you write the paraphrase, okay, or the rephrase of your question prompt and then overall is another paragraph. No, it's not like that. You join them together, okay? And in your overview, now you have 2 paragraphs from your overview. Irrespective of the kind of question that you have, you come up with 2 paragraphs for the overview. For some question types, you may eventually need to have a summary which will form the second paragraph depending on how the information is captured. But as much as possible, try not to have more than 2 paragraphs and ensure that you don't write more than 175. It has worked for people in this class, and I can assure you that it will work for you if you do the right thing. So the overview is where your key features are captured, okay, discussing them in detail. Although the content of an overview is determined by the type of question that you are given, I have said that you should not have more than 2 paragraphs, however. Overall, the writing task 1 has 3 paragraphs in all. Paragraph 1 is the introduction, while the second and third paragraph, whose content varies depending on the question type, carries information about the overview of the entire task that is before you. There are times you need to combine data, there are times you need to bring out more things from the question. It depends, okay? So we discussed all of this, we've discussed them under the particular question types. Tonight, I just want to ask if you've been following us, okay, if there is any question at all about the writing task 1, so that we can solve it and then move over, or if we can't solve it particularly, we can move over to the next thing that we have to do and then solve your questions later on. Does anybody in this class have a question in writing task 1? Writing task 1, that is, your question is about graph, it's about bar chart, it's about line graph, or any of the question types in writing task 1. Does anyone have a question? If your video is off, I'll take you out of my class. I won't even wait. I won't wait. No question. So writing task 1, we are good with it. I told you there are 2 things when students don't have questions, okay? It's either they understood the lesson so well and they don't have a question, or they are confused and they don't even know which question to ask. So which one is the correct one here? Which is correct? Do we all understand what we've been doing so far and we don't have any question? We don't have any question. Please, if I take you out of this class, you won't be able to come in. Don't come to my inbox. I'm teaching currently and I will not be able to answer you. No question. Okay, that said and done. We are going into writing task 2 tonight. Fresh page, fresh work. Good evening, Sister Grace. Please put your video on throughout this class. Thank you very much and welcome to our class. No question. Okay, I just need to admit a couple of people in the class before I just move from where I am. Give me a second, please. Let's bring all these people in so that they can benefit from this class tonight. Okay. All right, so writing task 2. Just a general overview of the writing task 2. The writing task 2 is designed to test your ability to write an academic style essay. And here also you are expected to present your information in your words as complete sentences within the paragraphs. You are required to write not less than 250 words, okay, over 250 words, and you should complete the task in 40 minutes. You are expected to write very legibly using all the devices available to you, ensuring that all aspects of the task are completely carried out as instructed. So I advise you, usually it's advisable for you not to write too many words, okay? So stay within the word limit, as this will help you to minimize errors. If you stay within the word limits. I'm having to cancel some things. I'm seeing that person now, and I have to report them to Zoom. Okay, so yes, task 2. Sorry, certain things just need to be sorted, so that we won't have any disturbance from the outside in this class tonight. All right, so like I tried to explain to us about the band descriptors initially, we also have the same band descriptors, but different things are expected of us in writing task 2. Writing task 2 is the one that you write not less than 250 words. It's the one that takes you 40 minutes, okay? And you are expected to write adhering to certain rules. These rules, we are going to be discussing them in the band descriptors. Your essays will be rated using some guide called the band descriptors. And these devices, they are the grading criteria. So when you hear someone has a band 9, a band 7, a band 8 or 6.5 or whatever they have been able to, grade and rate them, okay, based on this content called band descriptors. Number 1 is task achievement or response. This criterion assesses how well you have focused on the topic and answered the question to score the complete mark for this. So you must, by all means, write to satisfy the requirements. What are the requirements? You have not less than 250 words. You have not less than 250 words, okay? That is the number 1 requirement. And then also, you have done your work in 40 minutes. You have completed the work in 40 minutes. You satisfy all the requirements. You covered all the parts. There are different question types, and we'll be discussing them. Some questions will tell you to discuss both views. For example, for you to have completely achieved your task, for we to say that you have completely responded to the task, you must have discussed view A and view B, not discussing one view when they have asked you to discuss both views. You must have covered all aspects of the question, and then you have been able to develop your main points. Where possible, you are also giving examples. That is how you will score correct marks for your band description, for your task achievement or response. The next one is coherence and cohesion. This explains well how you can write your ideas down, connecting them to make good paragraphs. And for you to achieve this, number 1 is that you must sequence the information, okay? You sequence the information in a way that that is logical. And then there must be a flow, a progression between your work. Use a range of cohesive devices appropriately. Cohesive devices, linking words, okay? A range of them. You must use them correctly where they are needed, not just writing because they said you should write. Use paragraphing appropriately as well. Have a clear progression throughout your write-up, and then avoiding unnecessary repetition of information. For lexical resource, which is the third component, this one accesses your vocabulary in terms of error, how well you can use advanced language to present your ideas. This means that you have used vocabularies that allow some form of precision and some form of flexibility. You use less common vocabularies, be aware of the academic style of writing, and then the collocation as well. Avoid errors with your choice of words, avoid errors with your word formation, avoid errors with your sentence formation as well, and then avoid errors with spellings. These are the things that your lexical resource is looking out for. Then for grammatical range and accuracy, this is talking about how to use, more advanced sentences to produce error-free write-up. It entails you to use a mix of simple, compound, and complex sentences. It's advisable for you to use more of simple and complex sentences, linking them up with the cohesive devices in your paragraphs. Produce error-free sentences as well, and then the correctness, okay, the appropriateness of your punctuations. Please remain muted so we don't distract others. Thank you. So, going forward, we will take the type of writing tasks too that are
Joy, you've been muted. They can't hear you. So for the past probably 2-3 minutes, you've been muted.
Oh dear. Where did you stop hearing me, please? Chinwe, where did you stop hearing me?
You will have to unmute them. So what I did was to stop the disruption in the class. I muted everyone so that only you can unmute them.
Okay.
Okay, when you finish talking about the grammatical range and accuracy, you wanted to start the types. That was when you were muted.
Oh, okay. I think someone someone was making noise, and Mr. Tunde had helped us from the background to solve that problem, and you see that I was muted as well, and I had to unmute myself. Sorry about that. So I'll go back. Yes? Did you get the explanation of that one already? Grammatical range and accuracy, yes or no? Yes. Okay, thank you. So we go to the structure of the writing task. All right? Grammatical range and accuracy is where I talked about your grammar and how you can use more advanced sentences to produce error-free write-up, okay? To produce an error-free write-up at the end. And this entails that you use a mix of simple and complex sentences, more of simple and complex sentences, okay? And then produce error-free sentences, avoid errors with your punctuation. Moving forward, we talk about the structure of the writing task writing task 2, sorry. The structure of the writing task 2 is a bit different from that of the writing task 1. In writing task 2, you are expected to produce 4 paragraphs in all. 4 paragraphs in all. And these are 1, the introduction, body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, and your conclusion. Different information is required in all of these paragraphs. For instance, your introduction will carry the general statement, which is your question prompt paraphrased, and your specific statement. The body paragraphs will contain your points explained specifically and precisely, but very clearly, while the final statement, which is your conclusion, will be a summary of all your points put together. I said that the structure of the writing task 2 is where you have 4 paragraphs. Introduction. In your introduction, you are talking about your general statement, paraphrased, and your specific statement. Then the body paragraphs 1 and 2 are your points, okay? Explained clearly, but very precisely. Then your conclusion is your final statement, which is a summary, like a summary of what you have been saying. That will be your conclusion. There are different types of topics that you will find. Different questions will come in different ways from different areas. And these areas are education, innovation, crime, media, technology, social issues like divorce, social issues like crime, drug abuse, or crime in the society and all of that. Those are the things that you will find, okay? And then technology and the future, technology and the past, comparing maybe the past and the present with in terms of development and events and innovations and all of that. Then you also find issues that has to do with the environment generally, maybe talking about global warming, talking about air pollution, talking about smoking in the society, its effect and all of that. Those are types of topics. Those are topics that you can find your questions from. So it is very important, okay, and convenient for you to build your vocabularies around these questions, these topics, so that when you see a question from any area at all, from any of the areas, you'll be able to express yourself, because of course you already have enough vocabularies, you already have enough synonyms to say these things, to express yourself in a way that it will be understandable, all right, by your examiner or anyone that is reading your write-up. There are different types of questions. Some people say there are 10, some say there are 9. Some schools of thought say different things, but for the purpose of this class, I have arranged them into 3. There are 3 main types of essay questions that are included in the IELTS writing task. Therefore, it's very important for you to understand what these question types are, so that when you see them, you know, as you practice and you come across them, when you finally see them, get to see them in your exam, you will be able to write explicitly. Number 1 is the opinion essay. In the opinion essay, there are different kinds of questions that will come under the opinion essay. But majorly, in the opinion essay, you are asked to give your own personal view on a particular topic. Then we have number 2, a both side and opinion essay. There you are required to discuss both sides of an argument and then to give your opinion on that topic. The third type of question that you will find is a 2-question essay, which involves responding to 2 different questions. So tonight we are going to start talking about the opinion essays. All right. There are various questions that are classified as opinion essays. These questions include questions that we ask, what is your opinion? Or do you agree or disagree? Some people call it agree or disagree questions. Do you agree or disagree? That's 2. Then another question will come as, to what extent do you agree or disagree? That's number 3 on opinion essay. Then you find questions like, do you think the advantages outweighs the disadvantages? That's an opinion essay. They're asking you what you think. What is your own opinion about this particular thing? Are the advantages more than the disadvantages? So when you have questions that ask you directly, what is your opinion? Or do you agree or disagree? Or to what extent do you agree or disagree? Or do you think that the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? All these are under opinion essays. In answering an opinion essay, what do you do? How do you plan? Okay, number 1, any of the 4 questions that I've listed above, any of them that you find, this is the plan that applies to all of them. Number 1, you need to identify your keywords and get synonyms for them. In the question prompt that you are given, you need to identify what are the main things, what are the key features, the keywords that are here, what are they? Then underline them if you can, or write them down separately, then get synonyms, okay, that you can use to express yourself in a way that you're not directly saying what the examiner is saying, but you are saying it in a different way without changing the meaning of that statement. Secondly, you decide the kind of response that you give. For instance, a question that is asking you, do you agree or disagree, is expecting a yes or no, then an explanation kind of answer. But if a question is asking you, to what extent do you agree or disagree, it means that you are either expected to strongly agree or strongly disagree, or to somewhat agree or somewhat disagree. It's not just a yes or no, then explanation, no. It's asking you, okay, now I understand that you agree. To what extent? How strong are your points for disagreement or disagreement? That's that kind of question. So there's a kind of response that you need to decide that what kind of response am I to give to this kind of question? Then you brainstorm on the key points. Brainstorm on these key points that you have understood, that you have listed out, that you are beginning to get synonyms for. All right. Then decide on what your position is. Some people just see a question and they just begin to write. It's not correct. You need to agree on what you are writing about. If you are agreeing, okay, do I have enough points to agree, or do I have enough points to disagree? For instance, there may be an opinion about something that you personally do not agree with, but you don't have enough points to support you agreeing with it, okay? But you have enough points on the opposite side. It is better for you to follow the opposite side where you have enough points, even though that is not what you personally believe. For example, for some of us Christians, we all know that Jesus Christ is Lord and all of that. Then they now twist a question. For example, twist a question and they are asking you something that you know that is the truth. Somehow in you know. But at that point in time, you do not have all the points that you need to support that opinion. It is better for you to write something else where you have the right points. Okay, that's not what I'm literally saying, that Jesus Christ is Lord. Yes, I'm a Christian. Okay, and then, like sometimes for instance, some people go for evangelism and they're asking you questions about how did Mary become pregnant with Jesus and how all of those kind of questions. and you know the answer. But at that point, logically, maybe you don't even know exactly what to say. So when you see a question that is twisted in a way, even if it's against your belief, okay, you need to go with where you have more points. For instance, you know that the role of a teacher in the society is indisputable. Now they come up and they say that the role of the teacher and the role of maybe a doctor or an engineer, for instance, that the engineers are more important in the society than the teachers. But you know that you understand the points when it comes to engineering, but you don't know much about maybe teacher. You don't have enough points to back up that your agreement, that your side, that's your view, that's your opinion, okay? You don't have enough points to back it up. Please go for where you have enough points. That's just what I'm trying to explain in a nutshell. So decide on your position or the assignment that you want to undertake at that point. Decide on your side. Okay, make a decision as to what you are going to write about. Don't start writing and say at the point will come. No, you need to make a decision on your question paper by the side, either left or right, upper side. Just make sure you join your points down so that you can explain them, you can develop them. Plan the structure of the given task. For example, you need to itemize your points from the strongest to the weakest so that you can score a good mark for coherence and cohesion. Remember that I told you when I was explaining the bank descriptors that coherence and cohesion has to do with the progression of your work. It has to do with you writing from point A to B, then to C, then to D. Okay, it's not about you rigmaroling and where you like have a conclusion before you are even beginning the work. You are writing and you're already, you say you are writing on one point and you are mixing it up. You are just bringing here and there. Some people have very good points to write about, but because their work is not organized, they score low marks in writing tasks. After you have done this, there's a step to follow in writing an opinion essay. Now, in your introduction, the introduction of the opinion essay, remember there are already 2 paragraphs. And in these 4 paragraphs, we have introduction. It applies to all of the writing tasks. Okay? Whatever kind of writing that you're doing, whether it is opinion essay, whether it is both side and opinion, or whether it is 2-question essay, you follow the structure where you have 4 paragraphs. We have an introduction, we have a body paragraph 1, a body paragraph 2, and a conclusion for whatever kind of essay that you are faced with. So the introduction of an opinion essay, how do you go about it? The general statement and the specific statement make up the introduction of any kind of essay at all, writing task 2. Your specific statement is your stand or your view, while the general statement is the question prompt that you are faced with. I said that the specific statement is your point, your view. Then the general statement is the question prompt, paraphrased. Question prompt, paraphrased. That is your general statement. To paraphrase your question that you have been given, you need to note the key points, the key words in the statement. Then using synonyms for those key words, okay? Use synonyms and then you compose sentences in the paragraphs. Of course, we all know what synonyms are. Synonyms are words that have the same or near meanings. And when you use these synonyms in forming your introduction, you have said what they said, what the examiner said or asked you correctly, using different words without changing the meaning. So this is saying the statement using different words without changing the meaning of the statement. For example, when they say most men drive cars to work, most men drive cars to work. It could be written as many males use automobile to get to their jobs. For most, we have taken many. For men, we have taken males. Drive, you use, okay. Cars, automobiles, and then job, work. Okay, those are the main points. And we have exchanged them without changing the meaning. That is how you plan. That is what the step is. So in that first step of introduction, we have the general statement, the specific statement, giving us an introduction. Then the body paragraphs, they are your main points. The body paragraphs are your main points, and the conclusion is what? A summary. It's a summary. So we will be doing a task, but before we do that, let me just explain. Okay, so when you have written an introduction, I said we need 2 paragraphs, okay, which is your body paragraph 1 and 2, where your main points are. For an opinion essay specifically, you should have at least 2 reasons in 1 paragraph for each of your paragraphs. If you have a question where you are agreeing or disagreeing, let's say you are agreeing, you should have 3 points for your agreement and 1 point for disagreeing. This is because you will have a point as a concession. That's a concessional point where you are like shooting yourself in the leg. You are not shooting yourself in the leg in the sense that you're trying to tell your examiner that it's not that I completely don't know anything about this other side. Although I know something about this other side, which is this, but I stand on this point because of this and this and this, which are your reasons. So for your body paragraph 1, you put 2 of your strong points together that are for that question you're writing. If you are agreeing, 2 points to support why you agree in a paragraph. If you disagree, 2 points to support why you disagree in a paragraph as body paragraph 1. Then in your body paragraph 2, with an example, if you can get an example, in your body paragraph 2, which is your 3rd paragraph now, 1 point, which is a concessional point, and 1 of your other points, which means, although I'm saying this and this, however, this. That is the way usually opinion essays, 3rd paragraphs look like. Okay? So you should have 2 points in 1 paragraph. The first one, 2 of your points supporting your view, whether agreeing or disagreeing, that's your view. So 2 points supporting it. In this second body paragraph, which is your 3rd paragraph, you have a point supporting and a point against. That will give you 4 points all in all, a total of 3 points that you are supporting and 1 point that is a concession. It is in your body paragraph 2 that your concession will come. So for coherence and cohesion, if you bring a concession before your other point, you will score a low mark. Okay? Although there is no penalty if you have 1 point, but if you don't have enough words and your examiner is not convinced, you won't get your mark. So it is better for you to give them enough. And that's why you must write very, very precisely, as in straight to the point. You don't need to go beating about the bush and give an example first before you explain what you want to explain. No, do your explanation, say your explanation, write your explanation before you go ahead to give an example. Remember, you are looking for not less than 250 words here. Not less than 250 words. All right? You need to brainstorm quality and valid points. Although some people are of the opinion that you can use maybe like some other short paragraphs and make it 3 paragraphs, which will now give you 5 paragraphs at the end of the day. So you see in some of these write-ups or it's online or in some of the IELTS teaching and other things online, or even some of their answers, and you see 5 paragraphs. If you check very well, by the time you compress those 5 paragraphs, they are actually 4 paragraphs. So you need to maintain that structure, please, for your practice, so that you will not miss it when you're writing your exam. I have almost like completely explained opinion essays. So you have body paragraph 1 and 2, and then your conclusion. The conclusion is where you will summarize your points. That's where you will summarize that the reason why I agree with this is because of this point, although this one exists, but I agree with this side because of this and this and this. You just give one line of your points, and that is the end of it. You have finished your writing. Okay, you have finished your writing. So writing task 2, you are expected to write not less than 250 words, produce 4 paragraphs, taking into consideration all of the banned descriptors. Okay, ensure that you use what you are supposed to use. Write within 40 minutes. Write within 40 minutes. Okay, write within 40 minutes. Everything should be done within 40 minutes. Any question?
I have a question. Hello, ma, can you hear me?
Go ahead, yeah.
Okay. When you were talking about the second paragraph, okay, you said that if it's a agree or disagree question, that we should write maybe 3 points in first paragraph. Then the second paragraph should be I didn't get it, because what you say, is it that I will bring in one of my strong points in the second?
You have 3 points, 3 reasons why you support. These 3 reasons, 2 of your strong points in your first body paragraph. Then a concession. You have a concession in your second body paragraph, which is your third paragraph, with 1 of your points, which means you need 3 points and 1 concession. Do you understand? In each paragraph, it is 2 points. In the first paragraph, first body paragraph, yes, you are not writing anything about concession. You are not against yourself. You are giving me the reasons why you agree or disagree. 2 points in 1 paragraph. Then in your second body paragraph, which is your third paragraph, you have a concession with 1 of your points. Are you still confused? Are you still confused? Kinwin? Yes. Okay. What it means is that if you agree, you should have 3 points why you agree, and 1 point from the other side. Good. 2 of your points, very strong points, 2 of them in your first paragraph, first body paragraph. In your second body paragraph, 1 of your points with the concession. Are you still confused? Usually you start with the concession, then you say your point. Okay? Then in the summary, that is in the conclusion, you can now summarize your points. That you support this point, or you are against this view because of this and this and this. That although this is the point, but you are not in support because of this and this and this. This is your own opinion. That's why it is an opinion essay. Do you get? Who else had a question before we move? No more question? Yeah? Okay. If there's no more question, then we will go ahead and write our task as usual. What I said is, in your first body paragraph, in the body of your write-up, first body paragraph, second body paragraph, conclusion. Already the introduction is very clear. 2 points, first body paragraph, if you are writing an opinion essay. Second body paragraph, a concession and a point, and then your conclusion. Okay? Remember the use of cohesive devices, however, but, in addition, more so, furthermore, moreover, all of those are your cohesive devices, and you must make very good use of them to join your sentences together so you can have complex sentences within the paragraph. Remember, you're writing on 2 points. So writing 2 points, you're not just going to write and put full stop and continue. No, you need to join them, bring them together in a way that it is straightforward, it is precise, and it is clear. Then in your conclusion, in order for you to write an excellent conclusion, you should start by using a phrase that signals that you are concluding your essay. Then restate the position to reinforce it in the mind of whoever is reading your work. After this, you should then summarize the main points that you made in the body of the essay, because it is a standard feature of a concluding paragraph, and it will remind the examiner of your key points again, and then make your opinion more persuasive. If you want to write a truly outstanding conclusion, like I always say we should, when you have enough time, you could give a final comment, but if you don't have enough time, please just go straight and write in conclusion or conclusively. Just start your writing and conclude your essay, summarizing your main points and then mentioning your point again. Please avoid the use of phrases like "in a nutshell." In a nutshell. I've seen it in several IELTS books that you should avoid the use of such phrases. If all of us in this class use "in conclusion" or "conclusively," the examiner is not going to say we copied ourselves, because there's no room for copying. They will just mark you. The papers are marked as per is individual. They mark you. They are not like our teachers in primary school that will say, because of the way you write your A and the other person wrote his A like that, you copied or he copied you. No, it's not like that. All of us can write almost about the same thing, and no, hell will not let loose. They'll give you your mark. Okay? They'll give you your mark. So summarize your main points. If you have time, summarize everything and then just conclude, and ensure that you have practiced to write in a way that even without counting your words, you are within the word limit. Okay? So tonight, we will have one question. And this one question is going to be answered in a way that you can relate it with all of the 4 question types of opinion essay. But we will pick one of it this night. I'll type it. I'll say it, then I'll type it for those that will need to be looking at the question. So the task is this. It's an opinion essay. There has been an increase in the use of computers in education. full stop. There has been an increase in the use of computers in education. Some think that there will be no role for the classroom teachers soon. Okay. Some think that there will be no role for the classroom teachers in the future. Yeah. There has been an increase in the use of computers in education. Some think that there will be no role for the classroom teachers in the future. What is your opinion? The question is also applicable when we say, do you agree or disagree? It's also applicable if we say, to what extent do you agree or disagree? And if we want to ask the question in a way to answer or to look like the first type of opinion essay, we will say, do you think that the advantages of using computers in learning outweighs the disadvantages? But for the sake of this lesson tonight, we are going to be answering, what is your opinion? And do you agree or disagree? What is your opinion first? What is your opinion? There has been an increase in the use of computers in learning, in education. Some think that there will be no role for the classroom teacher in the future. What is your opinion? What is your opinion? As we always do, you are going to write, okay? You are going to write. And remember that you are writing according to the structure. We have just discussed the structure, which means you're giving me 4 paragraphs. An introduction, a body paragraph 1, a body paragraph 2, and a conclusion. An introduction, a body paragraph 1, a body paragraph 2, and a conclusion. Your body paragraph 1 will carry 2 of your points. Body paragraph 2 will be a concession and 1 of your points. Your introduction is the general statement paraphrased. Your introduction, general statement paraphrased, plus your specific statement, whether you agree or disagree. Usually for an opinion essay, for me, I write this essay will discuss my opinion as my specific statement. It's best to use such statements because you may change your mind as you are trying to get your points together. So if you had said that you will agree or disagree, and then in the course of putting your points together, you have more points for agreeing than disagreeing, at the end you need to cancel. Or you may not know how to form that part of the B part of your introduction. So it is safer and better for you to just simply write, this essay will discuss my opinion. It's acceptable anywhere, universally. Okay? So this is 8:04. You will start writing from, that's 9:04, sorry, Nigerian time. So you will write until 9:45, and then we will stop. Write it, everything complete, and send it to everyone. Don't send it to me inbox. You know what to do, right? And let's go through what it is in class. Remember that if you are not participating, you are doing yourself. It's not me you are doing. All right, so your time starts now. If you are confused or you need anything at the end, just send a message. Thank you. I should write the question out after saying it. You see what I was saying? Please listen to the question. You are supposed to write it in your book because you need it. There has been an increase in the use of computers in education. Some think that there will be no role for the classroom teachers in the future. What is your opinion? What is your opinion? I have written it out.
Please remember that for you to stay on this forum, you need to have your camera on. If you cannot have your camera on, please join the group via Twitter or the YouTube link or the Facebook link. For you to stay on this class, you need to have your cameras on. Thank you.
Should be rounding up by now. Where is all the essays? Where are your work? I can only see one person's work here that is complete. Chinwe, where is your writing? Chinwe, where is your writing? Blessing, Okoli, where is your writing? Who else is still writing? Can you all hear me? I know I'm not muted. Can you hear me? Just wave. Esther, you didn't write anything. I couldn't see anything you sent in. I've not seen any work you sent in. Sandra, you did not write anything. Lovely, what happened today? You didn't send in any writing. All right, so I'll just read and explain what I see here and do my correction. Can you all hear me? Blessing, where is your work?
I've sent it, ma. I've sent my work.
How many minutes ago?
I just sent the concluding part now. I've sent it initially when you asked us to submit before, but the conclusion I just sent now. It's in two parts because at a point I couldn't continue typing. So I sent in the first part, but I just sent the conclusion right now.
Okay, that's fine. No problem.
Thank you, ma.
Okay, so I've seen one part. Let me see. Okay. Okay, that's fine. I've seen it. So it's just two of it that I have here. Esther, what happened to you? You didn't write anything. Chinwe, Chinwe, where is your work? It looks like Chinwe is sleeping. Chinwe, can you hear me? You were sleeping, Abby.
I
Now, where
was
is your
typing,
work?
ma.
Where is your work?
I've sent the one I typed. I just sent it now, but I've not sent everything.
Okay, so let's start. The significance of computer in education cannot be overemphasized. There are contrary opinions as regards the need for physical tutors in years to come. I strongly disagree with this assertion because computers cannot mentor and carry out practical demonstration. I remember that I told you that in your introduction is your general statement and your specific statement. I do not need your points. Now you have gone ahead to give me 2 points. Mentoring and practical demonstration in an introduction. It's very wrong. Okay? You do not agree or you disagree with the point. Then the essay should explain what your points are or why you disagree. Please don't bring in any of your points to your introduction, okay? It does not help. And then you went ahead, the significance of computer in education cannot be overemphasized. Their contrary opinion, you wrote the same thing. Now, on the one hand, computer as a soft skill has had much impact on various aspects of our lives, and education not being an exception. You are just explaining the importance of computer. You have not said the reason why you agree or disagree. You are just saying it. You have not said any point at all. Okay? However, the impact of lecturers as role models and mentors to guide, counsel, and professionally correct students cannot be relegated to this advanced technology. Now, you are using big words in a wrong context. Relegated, how? That word is not supposed to be there, number one. Number two, your first point, you have not made any point and you are giving a however. What point have you made that you are contradicting? Because the word however is when you are contradicting or saying something opposite of what you have said before, or trying to take a stand against what you have said before. What have you said before that you are now using however? Yeah, you have not said anything to me. And to this end, I will say that that particular paragraph, there's no point there. Now, you have disagreed with the fact that they are saying that computers will take over teachers. From your point here, I will say that you're trying to say that teachers counsel, they guide, and they correct students. Meanwhile, the computers cannot. I am only saying this because I'm your teacher now. If I am your examiner, I won't say that. I won't mark it from the view of an examiner and give you anything. I'm telling you this so that you can bring out the point from there and say it the way you should say it. Okay? So if the point here is that you want to tell me that computers cannot physically guide a student, cannot correct the student's work or counsel, then start to tell me that you disagree because computers cannot do this and this and this, whereas the teachers can do it. So you still see the role of a teacher when it comes to guidance, counseling, correction. That's what you're trying to tell me. Now, for instance, some sensitive courses like medicine and mathematics will continually require classroom instruction, otherwise disaster awaits the nation. Your example is kind of relevant, but of course, your point has not been made. So you need to make your point and then have a relevant and valid example. That's what I have seen. Number one, from this write-up, ensure that you do not bring in your points to your introduction. Okay? Ensure that you go straight to the point. Secondly, in an opinion essay, avoid the use of on the one hand and on the other hand. This is because you are not explaining a both side and an opinion. If you were explaining a two-question essay, on the one hand, you are discussing one side of the view. On the other hand, you are discussing the other side of the view. It has not said you should discuss both views and give your opinion. If you were discussing both views to give your opinion, on the one hand, you talk about the role of the teachers, and on the other hand, you talk about the role of the computer, and in your conclusion, you will now tell me what your own opinion is. That is a both side and an opinion. And that's the only condition where you can use on the one hand and on the other hand. In this instance, you are just to go straight to the point. Remember when I was telling you about coherence and cohesion? You need to make your point known and there has to be a flow. You don't start the sentence in the wrong way and you are expecting any marks. You won't get any marks from your exam, from your examiner rather. Okay. Recently, the utilization of the internet has been on the high side, which could be, this is another person's work, isn't it? So, Buki, is that all that you wrote? Yeah? Ensure that the work is done. Nevertheless, educators monitor a learner's growth and progress academically. Good. So you see that you have valid points, but you don't know how to put it down. If they measure their growth, they monitor the students and all of that, and the computer cannot do that, these are the things that you should write about. Conclusively, you have gone to conclusion. I asked for 2 paragraphs, and you have written one very long paragraph. I saw your answer, or what? Let me see. Yes, that's what you did. Because this one is another person's work. On the one hand, computer this, that, and the next thing I saw is conclusion. It means you have written one very long. So you don't have a concession and you don't have a point against the concession, which means that you have written 3 paragraphs. And at the end of the day, your task achievement is very low. How do you expect to score band 7.0 at least for you to cross over with this kind of writing? Yeah? So it's not going to work. You need to do more, right, Buki? You need to write more. If you go to the previous writing tasks, you will find writing task 2. I've labeled it opinion essay. It's there on our YouTube channel. You can watch it again and you will understand what I'm explaining better. You have valid points, but expression of these points is a major challenge. In your writing the introduction, please avoid bringing in your points. I don't want you to mix up things, okay? Don't mix up things. Just go ahead and write. I think it's time for me to start writing and then sending the correction. I will write the essay myself again. Like after discussing, I'll write it the way I expect you to write it and send it to the Telegram group so that you can see what it should look like, and then you can rate me and see whether you give me band 6.0 or band 4. Anyways, for that try, you have done well. Consistency will help you because it shows that you know the point, but writing it down is the challenge. I want you to go to Cambridge 15. We shared a Cambridge 14 and 15 in this class. Cambridge 15, test 3, writing task 2. Cambridge 15, test 3, writing task 2. Everybody will write it. Okay, go and practice that. Then the next one I'm seeing here, okay, your conclusion, conclusively, that's a way to start, correct? Teaching face-to-face is the best. How is it the best? You need to bring in your point. How is teaching face-to-face the best? What are the points to tell me that teaching face-to-face is the best? So you prefer, conclusively, although you will say that your concession. That's why you must have you must have a concession. You must have a point against your point, which is the good point for the other side. It's a good point, but you are not in support, but it's a good point. For instance, for me, I believe personally that with time, in over 50% of teachings, the computer is going to take over in the future. And if care is not taken, the classroom teachers will be relegated to the background in many fields, except that you mentioned medicine. But in many areas, really, the computers will take over. This is because there is technological advancement every day. So we're talking about the classroom teachers now. In the developed world currently, with the pandemic, children have not stopped learning. Universities are still open and they are working, they are learning. Not everybody goes to the classroom to receive lectures anymore. I can't remember when last my kids went to school. For last year, last year. But learning has not stopped. They have graded them like exam. Term has finished. There was holiday. Then the term resumed again, and there has been mid-term, and the term has been resumed again. Everything from the comfort of the home. So for me, over time, computers will take over teachers in many areas. The classroom teacher will be relegated to the background with time. This is because online learning, people see it like it's more comfortable to learn from your home. You pay less just for you to have these devices. For instance, in Africa, where we pay such a big amount of money for school fees, if I have 3 children in primary school and I'm paying 150,000 each for their termly school fees, for example, and then instead of paying that amount of money, I just buy 3 desktops. And if the teaching is online, I just buy data, get a Wi-Fi in my home, and my children's learning continues. But when I pay, just listen, when you pay the fees to the classroom teacher, the children are in danger of traveling to and fro school. So with the online learning, there's less travel, there's reduced accidents on the road for children. No more traveling up and down, school bus and all of that. What about their convenience? People don't have to wake up in the morning, rush to the bedroom, especially there's Harmattan in Nigeria, and many people are now doing the bath on Monday, rub and shine on Tuesday, leg and face on Wednesday, on Friday, maybe hand and leg or whatever, and on Sunday we bath, and on Monday rub and shine continues. No, there's timetable for bathing now. So you don't have to wake them up. You don't have to wake up. You can just get up, wash your face, sit down on the computer, and you have done your learning for the day. Even for the teachers themselves, they sit down at home and they correct the work and do all of that. A very good example is that I am here in the United Kingdom. I'm in my room right now on my table, and you are in your room and you are learning. IELTS centers with time will close down, for instance, if everybody goes online. So has the role of the classroom teacher not been relegated in that instance? Yes, it has been. But if I am talking against this point and I say, no, the role of a teacher can never, be ruled out. The classroom teachers will always be relevant. You talk about the hazards of using computers to learn. The fact that the children are no longer interacting or the students don't interact, that social interaction is not there. Socialization is not there. What about the health hazard? Exposure to the screens every time. What about the fact that there's distraction? Sometimes you're learning and your Facebook is opened on your computer, on your phone. A message comes into your messenger, into your WhatsApp, and you're distracted. What about the fact that children or people are no longer brainstorming because the teacher is teaching online and you ask a question, you don't know what I'm doing, what my hands are doing, you don't know. I'm Googling the answer and I answer. And the teacher will say correct. Meanwhile, if you ask me again when I'm not sitting on that computer, I will forget. What about that one? What about the health hazard? I've talked about it, the eye damage and all of that. What about the fact that there is every tendency that one can swerve from the teaching and go to sites and all of that? Because of computers, now that everyone is using to learn, we have no choice. You can't really monitor what these children are doing. What about different sites? Some of them go to porn sites and all of that, and you can't stop them. I mean, you can stop them, but you don't know. Because you are sitting on the computer, you think that they are studying. Okay, a typical example is right where I am in my house. Sometimes you think one of them is doing assignment on the computer and they are watching Naruto, or they are watching, and as soon as you are coming, they just click it like this and it's their lesson that you are seeing. Meanwhile, he was watching something else. He has his earpiece now, so you don't know what the person is doing. So these things, what about that? That's to tell you that there's no control, okay? So if you put these points together, then you can discuss them. That's why you must brainstorm and write something down. So if I'm faced in an exam situation and I'm faced with this question, quickly I would think, okay, so teachers and computers. Okay, there's interaction in class. Okay, the teacher can correct, teacher can guide. Okay, the teacher can, what else? Students learn from each other. They share ideas, don't we? Students in class share ideas. But on the internet, if it has to be computer and all, we don't even see ourselves. So how do we do that? Not all the time. We don't see ourselves all the time. Although there's Microsoft Team and all and the classroom and they are teaching, but there's no interaction between us. That social interaction is not there. So I'm still talking against computer. So then I move on and I want to talk about the teachers that whether teachers like it or not, computer is better. The fact that I can teach from afar, the fact that you can easily get what you want on Google, the fact that you can, like reach a louder audience, a bigger audience than in the classroom. At least in the classroom, there's a certain number of people, okay, that will be in class. But with the computers, as you're listening to me, thousands of people may be listening and watching at the same time. They are not necessarily in one particular building. What about the fact that it is comfortable for me and we can do it at our own pace? Will we go to the classroom in the middle of the night at 10 o'clock? Now it's past 10 and you're studying from the comfort of your home. Which classroom will you sit in Nigeria or in South Africa for you to listen at this time of the night? What about the convenience, okay? The transportation, spending money and all of that is all cut out. So you need to think, you need your brain to be active. Then you put these points all together and you begin to look for words in between them to join them. And those are your cohesive devices. You don't just list them and you forget about, no, you need to develop these points. So it's more like you trying to tell me and say, okay, The question says what now? What is the question? Let me see. The question says, there has been an increase in the use of computers in education. Some think that there will be no role for the classroom teachers in the future. What are these key points? Increase, use, computers, education. These are our key points. Some think, okay, role, classroom teachers, future. These are our key points. So, the use of computers. What other words can we use for computers? Technology. Okay. Online learning. Computers in education can be online learning. Okay. So we now say that there has been an increase, or the use of technology in learning has been on the increase. Many individuals believe that with time, the teacher's role will phase out, or the classroom teacher, the tutors, okay, will be relegated to the background, or there will be no need, okay. Role, need, there will be no more role for the teacher means that there will be no need for the tutors, physical tutors, classroom tutors. There will be no more classroom teachings. You can use all that in the future going forward as time goes on. In times to come, in years to come, you're talking about the future. By this, you are rephrasing this question prompt. Okay? Then, your specific statement now is your own thought, is your own opinion. This essay will either discuss my opinion, I can choose that, or I'll say, I personally do not agree, or I agree with this point, and then this essay will discuss my view, which means you agree with this point, so the essay will discuss your view. Now that you say you agree with this point, there's a danger in it. It means that you cannot disagree with the point. But if you say this essay will discuss your view, you may decide to give views, to discuss the other side of it. But if you have made a mistake of saying you agree, it means I'm going to be looking for all points on agreement and then a concession against that agreement. You can use words like firstly, or to begin with. Do you understand? You can use words like that. You can use words, but remember, when you use firstly, you must use secondly. It means you're listing. So when you want to begin with, you can start with that, or you can just go straight to your point and say, technological advancement has done this and this and this. You have told me the use of computer. And you are saying, because you agree with the point that computers are better than teachers, literally, that's what we are saying. Technological advancement, or teaching with technology, like computers, online, online learning, use of the iPads and these devices and all of that. I didn't even remember a point. The fact that computers are expensive to purchase and some people may not be able to buy. The fact that the network also, signal may not be available everywhere. So it will, what about the rural areas? There will never be a time when teachers will be completely phased out because of the villages, where even me and you, ordinarily, we travel to the village, we look for mountains where we will climb before we can make contact with the people outside. So how many people have that money? What about electricity that is not available? These are simple facts that you can quickly see and you can write about. But you have said you agree that computer is taking over. So you need to tell me why computer is taking over, or why you think computer is taking over, you that agree. One of the facts that computer will take over, one of it is that the world is going global and everything is going technological. And especially with the, so you can now use the pandemic, especially with the pandemic. For instance, in this pandemic, many learnings have gone online. Children are still able to continue their learning because of computers, because of this technology, because of these devices that are available. Also, you can study using the computers at your own convenience from the comfort of your home. For instance, distant learning. You talk about that, you have your example and you have your 2 points in that paragraph. Paragraph 1 is gone. That's body paragraph 1. In your body paragraph 2, where I said you need a concession, that is where you will now tell me one disadvantage of the computer and then cover it up with one other advantage. If I'm starting my second body paragraph, I will start with, although obtaining these devices is expensive and not everybody may have the privilege, okay, of getting them to use. However, what is my however? Another advantage of computers. So now I have said it is convenient. I have said it is what? What are the 2 points? We're all here now. I mentioned 2 points. The world is going global, and I talked about the fact that schools have continued, Abby. So there's still continuity and all of that. Now, I need another point, another strong point against the fact that it is expensive. What about the wider reach? The fact that I can reach, the computers can reach many people at the same time. Okay, so if I bring that one, I say, although it is expensive, however, with the computers, with these devices, one is still able to reach a wider audience. Or I say, although teachers can correct, okay, and guide students, however, they are limited in terms of reaching many students at the same time, as there is a number permitted per time. While with the computers, more classes, more students can attend the classes online and learn more than they would have if they were to wait for a classroom teaching. For example, I now talk about the fact that one can teach from one continent, and in different continents, several students are learning. That is my second body paragraph. So I have a concession, a point supporting that teachers will not be relegated, but another point counteracting what I have said. In my conclusion, I will go to conclusively, the role of the teachers, okay, may not completely, because of what, may not completely be ruled out. Why? Because the teachers guide, or conclusively, the teachers guide and counsel the students, correcting work and all of that, or the social interaction, depending on what my concession was. However, computers, one can learn at the convenience of their own homes, okay, reach a larger audience. And what is the third point? Blessing. You learn at your convenience, reaches a larger audience, and what else? My third point. You forgot in 2. Chinwe, my third point.
I don't remember.
You don't remember. You will not remember now because everyone is tired already. Okay, anyways, I had 3 points. One of them was learning from the comfort of their home. Reaching more audience is another point. So even if it's those 2 you remember, or one of it you remember, you are just supposed to summarize the points anyway. But if you are writing it, you're seeing the point that you're writing. Won't you see them? Just to make it easy for you. That's what I'm trying to explain, all in all. So that you just summarize your main points, and that will be the end of it. And your point, the point you support should come last. You are reinforcing it so that the examiner can remember it. Your point should come last. Don't bring your points first and come and end it with the advantage, the one advantage of the other side. If you were speaking for the computers, remember to mention your concession first in your conclusion. If you were speaking for the teachers, mention your concession first, okay, in your conclusion. So all in all, you have your introduction, which is a paraphrase of your question prompt and your specific statement. Remember not to mention any of your points in your introduction. Then go and discuss 2 of your points with an example in body paragraph 1. Go to body paragraph 2, discuss a concession and 1 of your points, and then in your conclusion, summarize your points. Do we understand? Uchenna. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Sandra, do you understand? No, you don't.
Yes, ma. I understand.
Perfect. So that's it. I'm sending in a work to the Telegram group, an opinion essay. If you want, you can attempt to write it to the Telegram group. Yes, Blessing, ask your question.
Okay, ma, thank you for all your efforts they are putting in these our lectures. Ma, my question is, in our introduction, after we've written, after we have rephrased our question prompt, the place you say this essay will discuss my stand. Here, can somebody say this essay will discuss, as in stating whether you agree or disagree with the essay you want to write?
I said so. If you want to say that you disagree, don't bring in your points to say that you disagree.
Okay.
So when you say that you disagree, ensure that you say that your views will be discussed. This essay will discuss your view.
Okay.
This essay, why I use this essay will discuss your view generally is because whether I agree or I disagree, it can go for both. Yes, both of them.
Okay.
If you want to say that you disagree, you can say it. There's no penalty, really.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
But make sure you don't state your points. Some people will say this essay with some people will say I disagree with this because computer or because teacher. You are saying your points already. What if in the course of your arrangement you see that your points are more, as in you have stronger points that you didn't mention? At the end, the examiner is looking for what you have mentioned for you to develop. Okay, meanwhile you are discussing a different thing. You will end up implicating yourself, and as such you reduce your mark. So there's no penalty. But this essay we discuss my view will cover for everything, and that's why I personally prefer to use it. And people have used it and passed. So I think if it's that easy, you can just go ahead, use it, pass and go. There's no award for who wrote the most, as long as you all pass. That's it. Any other question? Any other question? No other question. So there are 2 things you may want to do in the course of this week. Cambridge 15 test 3 is on the Telegram group. You can, if you search the media there, we have sent it there several times. Cambridge 15 test 3, writing task 2. Go and write it. Then I'll send in an opinion essay that you can write for the week. Yes, Rex, what is your question, please?
Hello, ma, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Sorry for bringing in this question. I
No
was
worries.
actually logged out of the class when I was trying to do the assignment.
Okay.
So my question is, if I want to start my body paragraph 1, you said something
Yeah.
about bringing in 2 points for the paragraph 1.
Yeah.
Sorry, the body paragraph 1, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I want to start it, should I use the word admittedly?
Admittedly, did you discuss with anybody and you're admitting that point and discussing it? You need to know the meaning of the word you want to start with. Why not just attack the question and just write your answer? Why not just go ahead and write your answer?
Okay. The reason why I'm asking this,
Okay.
because the body paragraph 2, since I'm going to contradict my point, my first point, then I will now counter it.
Remember
That's
that
the
you
reason why I
have,
was asking.
okay, remember that all in all, for the side, for your view, you have 3 points, all in all. But you have
Yes.
only one concession.
Yes.
So the concession is counter to one of your points.
Yes,
And you
I
still
know.
have your 2 points, which shows where you have the upper hand. So how are you contradicting yourself?
No, what I'm trying to say now is, maybe if I want to start it, since I'm starting with the concession, will it be advisable for me to use something like nevertheless?
To start,
Yes, ma. Then
I think it is not correct to start with nevertheless if you
okay,
are going to start a concession. Words like
okay,
although,
okay,
then your other point will now be however, something like
okay,
that.
okay, okay. All right. Thank you, ma.
Although the teacher's guide and correct and all of that, however, computers, do you understand? I think it's better that way. You can use although and but, or although and however. Do you understand? I think the internet is messing up now. Can you hear me still? Do you understand now? Okay, that's fine. If you understand, then that's good. Any other question? We have overshot into our time. In the absence of any other question, just wait for those questions and get to write. Please practice as much as you can. Tonight we have talked about opinion essay and we have discussed what is your opinion kind of question. Okay? I will send in a question on the other types, still an opinion essay. The answers, the structure is the same, all right? The format is the same. So just follow that same format and do your writing. Hopefully we'll get to go through it. If there's no other thing, I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye. Have a good night rest.